Fox News alert. Tomorrow will be Trump's first NATO meeting since being reelected. All eyes will be on him. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy with more. Peter.
And Jesse, good evening. A lot of the NATO leaders that are already here in the Netherlands for this summit would rather spend most of the time talking about Russian aggression. Of course, Russia is still waging a war on this continent. But if President Trump arrives tomorrow as scheduled, he's not going to have to hear much about that because the NATO organizers have slimmed down the schedule. So the only meeting he's really got to attend with the other leaders is going to be about increasing NATO spending. That is something he's been talking about for years. Right now, 22 of the 32 countries meet the current spending goal, 2% of GDP. President Trump is trying to push them to raise it to 5% of GDP. We expect most of the NATO partners to come here and say they will try to get there by 2035, except for Spain. The Prime Minister of Spain says they do not want to up defense spending to ensure protection for countries that are using harsh rhetoric. It doesn't sound like he appreciates the way that President Trump has been talking to the Iranians. Jesse.
Ooh, that Spanish guy's in big trouble. I can't wait to see how that shakes out. Peter, we kind of know how the Democrats have reacted to this strike, which is all over the place. The Republican Party, there was a pretty hot debate going into this weekend. How's the Republican Party reacted so far?
Jesse, just in the last couple hours since President Trump came forward and announced that there is going to be a ceasefire in a couple of hours, and since White House officials have started briefing us that President Trump and Vice President Vance were key players behind the scenes in that, at least one senator, Jim Banks, is saying that Donald Trump deserves the Nobel Prize if this ceasefire holds, and we would expect to hear a lot more talk like that. I also just saw a statement from Thomas Massie, the Republican who is joining Democrats and pushing for a war powers resolution, basically telling him that he has to go to Congress if he wants to do anything like that again. And Massie is saying tonight that if the ceasefire holds, he will drop that push for a vote. Jesse.
It's very nice of Massie. Peter, thank you very much. I studied abroad in the Netherlands, so I'll text you some recommendations. Just behave yourself.
That would be great, Jesse. Yeah, please do.
I will. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.